Hey guys, what's going on? Sincere here with whoissincere.com, Anon Radio Live, and the All Rights Matter show. Listen, I'm sitting here watching live from the Malheur Wildlife Refuge, from inside the actual refuge, a live stream of the militia members that are there, the occupiers, that are, they're not the brightest guys in the world, but they're standing there as patriots. They're holding their weapons. Some of them have made crazy comments. I'm just going to be honest with you. But, it's crazy all in the sense of how do you think about your freedom? How do you think about the value of your Constitution? If you know the facts of this area, if you know the facts of the United States, then you'll understand what enabling acts are for states. Okay, so the enabling acts that allowed all the states to come into the United States after the 13 original ones, enabling that is essentially for each individual state, they're essentially illegal because they violate the Constitution. It was always meant for the federal government just to have a small portion of land, which is Washington, D.C. But we see today that the federal government has extended their land grab to well outside of Washington, D.C. They have not only taken claim to territories, but they've taken ownership of territories. So, and those are two different things. That's illegal. And, we can talk about that all day, but it's in black and white. It's illegal. You have several scholars across the United States that preach the same thing. Just go to YouTube and type it in, enabling act, and you will find plenty of information that will lead you in the right direction to know whether the federal government is wrong. Okay, so we have that out the way. The federal government is, one, absolutely wrong. Two, these men that are standing out there, we can call them crazy, we can call them kooky, we can call them, whatever we want to call them. I've seen a lot of sexual comments thrown, this way. I don't understand, like, the massive sexual harassment kind of comments that are going this way. I really don't get that. I'm just being honest with you. But there's a lot of that's actually going on. So this is what I say all of that to say this. The men that are standing out there are standing out there for an absolutely legitimate reason. There's no other way to put it. It's a legitimate reason. But their legitimate reason is being undermined by the people that would rather just hurl out any kind of insensitive comment that they can think of instead of actually looking at the facts. The facts of the situation are the federal government is in the wrong. They should have, now, are these guys right for taking it over as a armed militia? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I know that there's a way to, de-escalate situations. And that means somebody comes to the table, they negotiate, and they talk. None of that has happened. So if you know your federal government is wrong, if you know that there is a chance to come to the table to negotiate the federal government, and none of that happens, and then you see people get shot and killed, how is that still a democracy? How is that still representative of freedom? And this is why I'm making this report. I'm making this report to pretty much tell you, fuck it. Hang it up. Hang it up. America is no longer, no more. Why? Because the people of America don't want America. Because the people of America will never stand up to fight for this country. The only people that will stand up fight for this country are the ones that everybody is online now hurling all kinds of sexual comments at and all kinds of just crazy, degrading, derogatory comments. So if those are the only people that stand up and fight for what's actually 100% legitimately right, then the rest of the lame-ass Americans out there, hey, look, we might as well just suck it up and go for the ride because we've been bought out. We've been bought out. The war is over with. There is no more war after these individuals are either apprehended or they die. That's it, guys. That's it. There's no other way of looking at this. We can try to pander. We could try to, beat around the bush. We could do whatever. But the fact of the matter remains. There is not one group of Americans, white, black, Hispanic, or anything else, that will stand up to the federal government and defeat them. If you want to challenge me, Feel free to drop a comment below and tell me what group you think has enough power to stand up to the federal government, and not just the federal government, to stand up to the psychological attacks and the propaganda that the federal government puts out. So if you stand up to the federal government, just know that you'll immediately be demonized for not going with the status quo. And from that demonization, you'll feel the wrath of the public as well that will side with the federal government, whether it's right or wrong. So now you tell me what one organization, what one group has a chance of standing up to the federal government and their lawlessness. I've come up with the answer of absolutely none. So if we can't support these men that are on the ground, that, you know, some of us may look like them or may act like them, if we can't support these gentlemen that are on the ground and say, and at least say that much, that the thing that they're doing is righteous in nature, if we can't do that much, then I'm telling you now, go grab your child. Tell your child, hey, listen, we used to have a free United States of America. We don't anymore because mommy and daddy are not brave enough to stand up for their rights. And when other people stand up for their rights, we decide that it's better to criticize them rather than get down to the root of what's really going on. That's what you should do. You should go grab your kids and tell them that their America is over, because you're not going to do anything. Nobody you know is going to do anything, and everybody who stands up to do anything, you're going to criticize them. That's where we are in America. And you know, maybe this is harsh the way I'm saying it, but it needs to be said this way. It needs to be said with open logic so you can see exactly where we're at. It's not a pretty picture that I'm painting. Am I being sarcastic? Yes, I'm being hella sarcastic. Is it well deserved? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm frustrated with seeing that everybody says they're about progress, says they're about freedom, says they're about liberty, but when it comes down to it, you're not. You're not. You're scared, you're stuck in your bubble, and as long as that 40-hour-a-week check is coming, you're good with it. You're good with it. You've been bought out. You've been sold. Literally. That is literally speaking. Your soul is no longer yours. It's been manipulated, controlled, and influenced by the government, propaganda, mass media, your television shows, what you eat, what you wear. You're walking, talking propaganda puppet for the federal government and their backers. So if anybody wants to indulge me and tell me what group is powerful enough to not overthrow the federal government, but to literally change the course and direction of this country, I'm more than willing to listen. But I don't think you're going to find any. You're not going to find it in these presidential candidates. You're not going to find it in any one group. I'm telling you now, guys, get your shit together. Get your shit together in America. You better get your shit together now. Now. The clampdown is going to be serious. If you want to talk about an Anne Frank story, we're going to have many Anne Frank stories right here in the United States. I'm telling you guys, there is nobody out here that's tough enough, that's big enough, that's bold enough that can defeat the federal government. These guys that are out here with their guns in the middle of the wildlife that are having all kinds of things hurled at them, those are the last guys that are going to do it. Mark my words. Stay alert, stay alive.